Hi, my name is Dan Desmarais. I'm the president and CEO of a company called Can Tactics Solutions. We're recording this in January 2020. I have no problem telling you I'm currently 50 years old, and I was involved in student works 30 and 31 years ago. So after my first and second year of university, I went to University of Western Ontario and then to the Ivy Business School for my third and fourth year. Student works was what I did after first year and second year. I'd been a high school student in Toronto. I had a job at a banquet hall. I put in my hourly wage, and I got to university. And one of my dorm room mates was a guy named John who was at high school with me, and we were in res together. And he said, "Dan, this is what you're going to do next summer." And he told me about student works painting. He knew some people that had already done it. And he said, "Yeah, we're going to run our own businesses. We're going to paint houses for the summer. You're going to be a manager. You're going to be an entrepreneur." And I'd been an entrepreneur in my younger days. I mean, talking 12 years old with a flyer route and subcontracting my flyer route. So I did student works in the east part of Toronto, being Scarborough, and the north part being Thornhill. And I did that for 2 years and loved it. And I don't remember what my numbers were. Really, the numbers were enough that I had a vehicle and I could pay for school. And to me, that was success. Now, there's a lot of scary points going into that, right? I'd had hourly work, and this was going to be a business. And I was only going to have money for school if I did really well, and I had enough money for school. So that's sort of the numbers that matter for me. I was able to pay for school, and and really what I learned there has now allowed me to evolve. So I was the entrepreneur for 2 years, and that was a little scary. My parents. So I'll talk to the parents for a moment. My parents were kind of like, well, you want to do it. Yeah. We know you can do it. They'd seen me have drive in the past and be willing to go out on my own and just get stuff done. I had a get stuff done attitude, and they were okay with that. So I appreciate that there might be some parents watching some of these testimonials, and feel free to send your parents along to watch this. I currently have four children between 16 and 21, three at university. And I wouldn't call any of them entrepreneurs. Although my 18-year-old daughter now tells me she wants to be a brewmaster. So maybe in 5 or 6 years, she and I will be running a brewery together. Um, but I would absolutely think that this is right for you as the entrepreneur considering this, or the parent looking at this. If the person doing this is somebody who gets up out of bed and goes and gets stuff done, right? And that's what you do. So I did this for 2 years, and then I went on to the corporate world. I was with Procter and Gamble. It's on my LinkedIn profile. I have no problem sharing that with you. And then I started using some software there at Procter and Gamble, and then for 12 years went and worked for that software company and was traveling a lot over the US, a little bit around the world. And in the fall 2008, the economic changes happened, and decided that I wanted to stay home. And with a little bit of a partnership with the company I used to be with, I started Can Tactics. Party of one when I started it, and then grew from there. We're currently 35 people across Canada and the United States. We're a virtual company, so I'm using a web meeting software to record this testimonial for you right now. I'm in my home. Everybody works from their home. We're a little bit different company, and we've learned to do that because what I learned from Student Works is to be a coach. And if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you can see an article I wrote about 10 things I learned over 10 years running a company. And number 2 on the list is be a coach and give back. And I guess for the entrepreneurs coming in and considering something like Student Works Management Program, you are going to run your own business, but you're not going to be alone. And I think that's just an amazing place to be, that you're going to have a district manager who was in your shoes last year or the year before. And then you've got levels of management within Student Works that are going to help you and coach you. If I think back to what helped me grow and achieve things that I've done, it was really, I go back to the original training. I understand now it's 3 days. We used to do 2 weekends. But that intense training that you do kind of in January of what it means to do a sales cycle, what's need, satisfaction, want, sales process. What do I do before I go into the house to do the estimate to attempt to sell the paint job? And do I go back out to my car and work my estimate and come back in? That whole sales process, and then the debrief afterwards. Did I get the job? Did I not get the job? How do I do better next time? It was a continual, really evolution of learning. Is how do I become a better salesperson? And you don't have to do it about being a hard-edged salesperson. It's just you're building a business and you have a product and you've got value, and customers don't. In your case of Student Works, they don't want to paint their house or clean their windows. They don't want to get up a ladder. They just want to pay somebody to do that. So I want to talk about a few things that I've learned are sort of habits that I really learned from my time at Student Works and have helped make me successful now. One is finding your own peaceful time. And if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you still have to find time to go and do your own thing. I do yoga. Some people walk dogs. I still play hockey. Those things are things where I'm not working. Yoga for me is somebody is telling me exactly what to do for an hour. I'm not the boss. And that's a good break. So that for me is sort of finding that place. But those moments are when, as the entrepreneur, I come up with the great ideas. And that for me is amazing, that I'm part of a company of 35 people. And yes, I'm the boss, but I can go to yoga and let the subconscious mind work and come back with this great idea. And I actually have a place where I can implement it because I've got teammates. I'm like, let me tell you what I thought about today at yoga. And like, okay, crazy Dan's got some new vision. Let's see if we can settle them down, or maybe they share the same passion. But that is something that I learned at Student Works is, there was times, when painters were working all day and I didn't have an estimate to do, I would just go park the car somewhere and just do nothing and try to clear the mind. So that's one great tip I learned. Another one was delayed gratification, right? Really learning to work really hard and pay yourself last. So there's a watch out for you if you're thinking of being an entrepreneur. You're going to get paid last if you're going to run a successful business. So be ready for that. And you might make more money at the end. And if you learn along the way, you'll be fine. And then one thing that I learned both from Student Works and afterwards is, nothing happens unless there's a client appointment and a date. And when you've got that, you can really do a great job of moving things forward. And it gives you a reason to get up out of bed. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. There's going to be mornings you don't want to get up out of bed, but if you've got an appointment to get to, you go ahead and do that. So just one of my personal things that I wanted to get to in terms of being an entrepreneur and the types of entrepreneurs that I think the world needs and are really going to do well. Recording this in January 2020, U.S. election coming up in the next year. Greta Thunberg has been telling us all that the house is on fire, but we're not leaving the house. Right? The world's in a pretty bad place in terms of where we're at with the environment, and the world needs the next round of leaders who are going to seize the opportunities and move on from the concept of a social justice business. Right? You're going to just have a business that's going to do great things for the economy. And we need people who can be those leaders. And it's young entrepreneurs who get involved in things like Student Works Management Program that can become those leaders, right? The people between 18 and 25 are the people that are going to be running the world in 20 years. And I would rather have our future leaders be those folks that have had a little skin in the game, right? You've failed a few times and you learn from every one of them. And you learn how to go forward, right? And that comment about delayed gratification is really important because that was really a tough thing for me. And the conversation with my parents before I agreed to do this and get involved in Student Works was there's no guaranteed income. So I want to call that out for you. But I also learned that a commissioned salesperson can be the highest paid person in the company or in the world because there's no limit to what you can make. So I would encourage you to take a serious look at the management program and really think about it as a management program, not running a painting business or a window cleaning business. It's a management program. You won't be alone. You'll be able to be successful on your own and share that with others. And you'll have the opportunity to do things. I'm delighted that I run a business that I can, work out in my home and I force myself to go to the library some days because I get out of the house. And I'm in my basement. My hockey sticks are in the corner, right? That's my home office. So I don't commute anymore, which is fabulous. And I can do that because we built a business around this. And that's really about the choice that you get once you've learned to be an entrepreneur and do things on your own. Um, so think about the management program. Think about the training that you get. I've gone back, in my university years, I would go back and help with those training sessions on those weekends. What you learn from those weekends, either being the participant or the leader, and then the casual conversations you have with the management program peers that you associate with all summer, and then when you get back at school is amazing because if you do this for a summer, you'll probably be involved with recruiting at your school in the fall, and you'll have your comrades there right with you who have been through it. You've all got your horror stories of customers you wish you didn't have, but they paid the bill and you learned something from it. So I guess my summary is you're not going to go wrong if you're a person that wants to change the world and wants to be in charge and wants the chance to come up with an idea and have a way to execute it. And I'm so delighted to be an entrepreneur now where I can do those things. So I hope you'll seriously consider the Student Works program. Thanks.